Wow, holy comeback. Holy comeback. So, yeah, let me give you the trade recap so you can understand why, start this video with holy comeback. And the thing is, as you can maybe imagine, I did the same thing as yesterday, just a bit less worse. Okay, it was, well, in terms of less worse, that I was, I starting like during the day, like from the beginning of the day and also during the day, I'm building off more of this fear because from the last video what I've mentioned that I'm for some reason super uh afraid to lose money. Now the thing is, it's not like I'm consciously thinking like that, but I'm genuinely acting like that in terms of emotions overrides rational analysis or rational thinking. Now the thing is, tried to go long on gold and I got stopped out multiple times because we can see here it's pretty choppy, right? Now on the 1 hour we can see it's been actually moving very, iffy, but still to the upside. Now we have here some sort of breakout, but still it's moving in some sort of a channel. With that, by the term, it broke out of it, and now we had the reversal. When we look at from a different perspective, the reason why I still entered, even so that it was looking pretty choppy, is we had here accumulation, and this looks like to me the manipulation. Now, it's visible in the 50 minutes, and when you think about manipulation, you're more likely expecting to be, fast, like a quick price action, like quick movement in price. But now this one was like overall a relatively slow one. But still, I was still bullish on that. When I look at this, it swept, specific lows. And afterwards, yeah, we had the choppy closure, some sort of. Oh, actually, no, we didn't really get the closure of this level. But yeah, I think you kind of see what I'm trying to say. And yeah, it's not really very clean to be honest, but I was still bullish because again, of the 50-minute AMD setup, and also on the 4 hour. Now, I don't try to back solely on that, but I think on the long term goal it's going to be bullish because we have here resistance, which became here the support. It broke out of it, and now was getting back down here, which became the support. And on the larger scale, it looks like to me, bearish. And because we had such a huge distribution to the upside, it kind of makes sense that we have here a larger range of consolidation. Now, with that being said, um, during I was waiting for my entry, I was still trying to scalp, but like I don't know if it's really revenge trading. I think it's still also, but as I mentioned, emotions overriding, logic thinking. That was just trying to, get my position or whatever, because then I saw, okay, I was right on the NASDAQ, like pretty much the same thing as yesterday. At the end of the day, I was right with the last setup I saw on both pairs, because here we have actually a sweep on the 50 minutes from this level and the next level which was being created by that. Now let me look. Okay, you barely see it. Damn, maybe I have to make it a bit darker or the order block a bit brighter. Yeah, I think we go with that. Okay, so we had to sweep here. Oh, now I see. This high actually did not sweep this one. I would maybe, it almost looks like equal highs, but I think it's literally one pip below it anyways. The next one actually caused to go it down, like actually sweep the levels. It did not sweep this level, and to be honest, it would have been interesting if it would have been stepping into this 4 hour order block. And also in the 4 hours, we have here some resistance being held. There is the support here and then the resistance over there, like a level which was being respected on both biases, like on both sides, sell side and buy side. And when we go back to the 1 hour, sorry, to the 5 minutes, we see it's like a bit of an unsteady entry. Like, oh, by any means, like by the terms, not the best entry overall, or like in other words, not the best market conditions. I think this, yeah, this is not the best market conditions, but still the high time frame confirmation was giving me the bias. The only problem was that we didn't really get a very clean, confluence on the lower time frame, but still solid enough that it makes sense that it was reversing like that. And yeah, I believe. Oh, not only that. Now I remember. Now I remember. My bad. We also have something that looks like to me a sweep on the daily right there from these highs. Not only that, this also looks to me like an AMD setup on the daily. Like I very rarely see something like this, but this looks kind of very obvious and pretty clean. Like we have the accumulation, then the manipulation to the upside, sweeping these daily highs. And now I'm bearish on the NASDAQ, and I want to see taking out one of these three levels right there. So actually, the high time frame buy confirmation, even the I would say even the confluence at this point, gave me like the confirmation to enter here of the poorly confirmation and entry model on the 5 minutes or on a low time frame. Now, anyways, besides that, didn't take this one. I missed it, and then I was trying to scalp all over the place. Um, and the drawdown was actually way worse than I expected. I was down over $600, and this is some nasty stuff, which kind of made me full port, like use the max tradable contract size on gold. So we can see it worked out. We had here a couple of things on the way, like here this 5 and 50 minute fair value gap, and then it was going to the downside, which already filled to the downside this fair value gap, and then it made perfectly sense, and then it was pushing to the upside. So a classic market condition, what you can expect if you have like some, let's say, things on the way which might change the trajectory in the short term. So yeah, with this trade, I was able to make a huge damage control because I was like the equity was like 49,300 and something, 330, and now we are at 49,991. So that's a hella. I think that's like so far the biggest win I had on this trade, $600. Yeah, now unfortunately it was damage control, but at the same time it's also fortunately damage control because being down almost 700, this wouldn't be a good day. But to be honest, like when I was doing this, like the whole scalping, like yesterday was like on its peak regarding my fear, like yeah, my nervous system was going crazy. And today in the morning and the early in the morning was also pretty much, similar. Not as hard as yesterday, but still very strong. But during the day I was able to build that more off and relying more on my analysis, or at least even if my setup gets invalidated, just leave it like that. Because actually the last few, like let's say scalps I tried, I just increased the stop loss because I had it always super tight, and just accept some losses, like from the drawdown, which would be like 0.5%, or wait, would it be like 1%? No, my bad. The drawdown is like 2k, like the max loss limit, and then allowing 10%, 10 or 5%, 5% to lose. Even so, I already have took some losses by having my nervous system getting between of that. So yeah, this was pretty much the whole trade recap of today. It's actually crazy. Yesterday with the damage control, today as well. But I see like the good thing is it's getting better, and also the momentum is way faster because I've been for a while in the charts, like almost a year, and I was going through all of it with forex and gold. So the learning curve, which I had here with the futures, or let's say the adaptation, is way faster compared to back then because it literally took me half a year, like basically half a year, to get my my nervous system right. Now I was still bad after 6 months, but compared from the beginning, from the first 3 months, like it's a huge change. And also that's the reason why the velocity of the adaptation is so much bigger because yeah, I mean I've been through it. I've like experienced that. So I'm getting more warranted in losing the future, losing money on this new realm which I was getting myself into. The futures prop firms, the evil account, and stuff like that. So overall, for me, it's good. Now maybe I'm going to still look at price. Maybe I will see a setup, but to be honest, I don't think so, because we had here a closure above this swing high on the 1 hour, and I feel like this is like the pretty direct response of today's news we have, because today I think we have CPI. Oh, sorry, PPI. We have today PPI news going on, which are going to be released in 11 minutes. And I think like this is the whole liquidity from the news which are going to come. So I doubt that we are going to get more liquidity like that, because we see here this very sudden aggressive price action. This aggressive push to the upside. So with that being said, it's getting bigger. Oh well, of course the beginning was terrible, no doubt. I can't talk it good in a way, but still, like, I'm losing more and more the fear. And I think by next week, it should be like way more convenient. Now, of course, it also would help if we would like get like a cleaner entry model. But besides that, like ignoring this fact, like overall, like acting the right way, it's going to be way easier for me by now. So yeah, or at least yeah, compared to today, because I see the learning curve, and it still might be possible. I just think it's not going to be as bad as today, because yesterday and today, big progress in terms of that, like the psychology, to kind of lose the fear and be and remember, like, okay, it's not that different because I've been through it with the live accounts and yada yada yada. And yeah, I think it just felt like, subconsciously I'm just treating it to, like special or something like that, because I've seen all the people on social media all over the place, because let's say the most prominent people are like trading futures, the NASDAQ, and not only that, also the some prop firms. So yeah, that was a crazy comeback. A loss of $10, which is again actually very crazy. This comeback. Well, yeah, I mean, if you start to get your shit right, like you can expect things like that. Like when you're like still freaking out, and then for next time to be able to actually um record some bigger gains, or um, managed losses. But for the long term, of course, bigger gains. So with that being said, cheers.